We've all been there, right? You see someone absolutely crushing it. You binge their day in the life videos and you think, this is it. You ride this massive wave of motivation for a few days and then it just disappears. The problem isn't the routine, it's the fuel you're using. Motivation, you see, it always runs out. But a true system, that thing runs on autopilot.
It's such a frustrating cycle, isn't it? You start off strong, you're full of willpower, but just a few weeks later, you're somehow right back where you started. The problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough, it's your entire approach. You're trying to run a marathon on a fuel source that, by its very nature, is designed to burn out fast.
And that really brings us to the core idea we're digging into today. Forget about hunting for more willpower or watching another motivational video. The real secret, the game changer, is building a system that's so effective, so deeply ingrained, that making progress just becomes your default setting. It's almost automatic.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to see what a really powerful system looks like out in the wild. Then, we'll break down the 3 core rules you need to build your own. And you'll definitely want to stick around for the end, because we're going to reveal the master hack that makes this whole thing just click.
Okay, so what does a system like this actually look like in practice? Let's break down a real-world example. Now, this is a pretty intense, highly structured routine built for peak performance. But remember, the goal here is not to just copy and paste this. It's to understand the principles behind it. So check this out. The day starts early, but not with a frantic rush. It starts with quiet and awareness. Notice those dedicated blocks for deep work. We're talking highly focused, zero-distraction work on your most important goals. And they're scheduled right in those peak energy hours, followed by a strategic nap, and importantly, protected time to just play. It's a blueprint for living intentionally. And that right there is the key. This is just a case study. It's not a prescription. Your perfect system is going to look different. So let's start breaking down the principles that you can use to design a routine that actually works for your life. And that brings us to our very first rule: master your craft. This is the cornerstone of the entire system, and it's really all about one thing: dedicating your best, most potent energy to your most important work. You know, the work that actually builds the future you say you want. First things first, you have to figure out when you're at your sharpest. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Whatever it is, you need to protect that time fiercely. Then, structure it into these focused sprints. Maybe it's a 90-minute block of deep, uninterrupted work, followed by a short break to let your brain breathe. And those breaks? They're not lazy. That's actually when your brain consolidates all that information. The goal is to stack as many of these high-quality work sessions as your day can handle. Of course, all that focus is pretty useless if the engine isn't running properly, right? So that leads us to rule number 2, fuel your body. I want you to think of your body as the high-performance machine that powers this entire system. This rule is all about tuning that machine for maximum, sustainable energy. Here are 5 absolute game-changing habits for peak energy. It starts with the morning. Waking up early gives you a head start, and moving your body gets the blood flowing. Then you fuel smart. Eating light or even fasting saves energy for your brain instead of for digestion. And finally, you rest strategically. A power nap is a total system reboot, and taking mindful breaks, and I mean no scrolling, lets your mind actually recover.
And hey, let's just geek out for a second on that power nap, because the science here is wild. A short nap, like 10 to 30 minutes, isn't lazy, it's a strategic weapon. As you work, this chemical called adenosine builds up in your brain, and that's what makes you feel tired. A quick nap clears it out. That's why studies show it can boost your performance by 34% and your alertness by a staggering 54%. It's literally like giving yourself a second morning.
Okay, so you're managing your work, and you're fueling your body. But that's only 2/3 of the puzzle. None of it really matters if your mind isn't on board. And that brings us to rule 3, train your mind. This is all about closing that gap between knowing what you should do and actually doing it. It's about taking control of the command center. Now look, the approach here isn't about some complex mental gymnastics. It's really just about creating space. 20 minutes of deep breathing can clear out all the day's mental clutter. Just 5 minutes of quiet awareness in the morning keeps you from starting the day in total chaos. And disconnecting from screens before bed, that's non-negotiable for good sleep. But maybe most importantly, learn to embrace boredom. Stop filling every single spare second with your phone. That empty space is where your brain actually does its best work, solving problems and connecting ideas. And now, for the master hack that holds this entire system together. It's all about addressing that fundamental conflict that sabotages all our best intentions, the battle that's happening inside your own mind.
This is the core conflict we all deal with every single day. See, there's the human part of your brain. That's the part that sets long-term goals and wants meaningful growth. But then there's the monkey mind. The monkey mind does not care about your future. It just wants cheap dopamine, and it wants it right now. It's the part that craves the endless scroll, the junk food, the procrastination.
And here is the secret that changes everything. You will never, ever win by fighting the monkey with willpower. It's too strong. It will always win in the end, and you'll just be left feeling drained and guilty. The only way to win is to stop fighting and start negotiating. And the deal is incredibly simple. Step 1, the human gets what it wants. You do the deep, meaningful work first. Then, and only then, you let the monkey have its reward. The Netflix binge, the social media, the video game, whatever it is. And here's the best part. You enjoy it completely, 100% guilt-free, because it's part of the system. You earned it.
So why does this work so well? It's simple psychology. When the monkey mind knows for a fact that a reward is scheduled and guaranteed, it stops trying to hijack your attention every 5 seconds. It calms down. It actually lets the human focus on deep work because it trusts that its diet of fun is coming later. It becomes your ally, not your enemy.
Okay, to put this all together and bring it all home, let's use one final, powerful analogy that perfectly shows how to structure your day for success. It's called the jar of life. I want you to imagine that your day is a big, empty jar. The sand represents all the small, distracting stuff, checking email, scrolling social media, all those little unimportant tasks. Now, if you pour all that sand in first, well, there's no room left for the big rocks. And the big rocks are what really matter. Your deep work, your health, your learning, the things that actually move your life forward. This shows the fundamental mistake that most of us make with our time.
So the lesson is simple, but it is so profound. Put the big rocks in the jar first. Identify your most important tasks for the day and schedule them during your peak energy hours. You'll be absolutely amazed how all the sand, the emails, the errands, the distractions just naturally fills in the gaps around them. And the best way to start? Before you go to sleep tonight, decide what tomorrow's big rocks are going to be.
And that leaves us with just one final question. This isn't about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's just about making one small intentional choice. So, looking ahead to tomorrow, what is the first, most important big rock that you are going to place in your jar?